Good morning. I've arrived. Today we're doing a coding game. As you can see, since the last time, I joined you. You joined me. I don't know, whatever. Um, we have many more items. This is an idle game, so I just let it run in the background. The only thing I ever changed is this. So just what crops were going on what lines. And then I modified this to be range instead of the weird comparators I had. Yeah, I did a few other things too. Like I made some stuff a bit more clean, just removed some unnecessary code. Which made grass harvesting a little bit less fast, but that's it. That's all that changed. Everything here is using that replenish function we wrote last time. And then I automated some of the unlocks, like you can see there. But it's just running this really basic loop. And then this harvest function, and that's it. So I unlocked everything that I have access to without planting any new crops or rewriting any algorithms. So I'm going to go through and I'm still going to solve everything correctly. Obviously, we've got the solution for grass is just harvesting it. The solution for bushes is the same. Carrots, very simple. Trees, very simple. Today, I'd like to get the solution for pumpkins and maybe sunflowers if I have time, as well as generalize things so that once I'm able to do Mega Farm, which gives you more drones, I can just drop new drones in and assign them a space in the farm and they'll work properly. And if I really have time, or if I'm really feeling it, which I don't know, we'll see. I might work on mazes, because this is actually a fun problem to talk about and work through. It's a bit more complex than anything else that we've done. But yeah, let's start. I need to overhaul some of the movement stuff. So currently all it does is it takes advantage of the fact that when the drone gets to the end and you move north at the end, it goes back down to the bottom. When we have this set up for multiple drones, you can't run the drones like that, especially if you need to work on a very small area. So if I'm building a pumpkin, the pumpkin maxes out at efficiency with like a 6x6. It doesn't max out, but you get what's the word? Diminishing returns on making your pumpkin farm bigger than 6x6. So if I want the drone to just operate in 6x6, we can't take advantage of the fact that if it moves north anymore, it'll go back to the bottom, right? So I need to write some code that manages when drones turn around, where they start, and things like that. First thing on the list is I'm going to create a new file. And I could do this in an IDE, but I'm assuming that people who play this game probably new and don't have one, or just don't want to set it up. Like me, I don't want to set it up, because then I'd have to do a whole bunch of work to get that showing correctly. In fact, speaking of work I have to do, the game doesn't seem quite big enough. Right? It seems a little bit too small. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. Oh, and one last quick thing before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of this. As I was prepping for stream, someone subbed on YouTube, and the actual alert showed up on stream, which has not happened for months, because the Streamlabs is just kind of broken on OBS. So, True Gamer, thanks for the sub. I'm going to try to replay it, and we'll see if it actually shows up. Usually it does not, because OBS is a quality, so I think it's on OBS's side, honestly. Even though whenever I've asked, they've pointed me to Streamlabs, but Streamlabs works with their software and all the other ones. So it's definitely OBS. It's one of those, and I understand, because I do this too, where I just assume that problems aren't my fault, which is not correct. Movement. Okay, so I'm going to make a file called movement. This is going to be our management for actually moving the drone around. And the first thing I want is a goto function. So goto is not a thing in Python. This is going to move the drone to a specific coordinate. So you can see if I hover over this, that is 613. I've never made a pathing algorithm for this, so I'm going to make it a little bit less efficient than is probably what is standard. But I'm trying to do as much of this solving the problems on my own without looking at the internet or whatever. So yeah, what do I need? I don't know. I'm just gonna start writing code and we'll see. So I need a function which is def goto, and it won't. Oh, it will take args. It'll take an x and a y. Okay. I know blocks have to contain code. I'm trying to figure out a way to get this like on screen, because I can zoom in, right? But then you can't see the farm at all. Let me actually I'll move this over top of the farm. We'll see if this is gonna work. That might be a bit more visually interesting for you. At least I hope. Okay. Go to X and Y. We need to get our current position. So we need current X, current Y. And that should be get... Oh. I have to separate these out. That's kind of annoying. I wish you could just get your position and have it split it. Get position X, get position Y. And I don't know the extent of the multi-threading capabilities for drones, so this might need to change at some point. And let's assume that we're not going to wrap around. Is that a fair assumption? Okay, now I need to calculate a delta X and a delta Y. Come on, delta Y. Our delta X will be... Actually, I can just call this function in here. That's probably better. Unless multi-threading if it's actively moving, but I'll have to change it anyway, so. Do I need the absolute value? No. I really want to compare, I guess, is my idea here. Which of these is bigger? And then always subtract the... You know what? I'm going to throw spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks. I also looked into getting new music for this stream, and then I was paying bills and texting people, and I just didn't do that. So not much I can do about that. This will be get position X minus X, get position Y. Actually needs to be the function minus Y. And I'm assuming these are ints. I don't know that they let you do the typing thing here, so moves the drone to XY. And then all of the checking, I guess, is going to be outside of this. I should probably check and make sure that X and Y aren't greater than... okay. Returns false if X or Y are outside. What is the world border? Get world size. Actually, let's put this on its own line, just for readability's sake. Yes, Python function definitions are standardized. You can do this different if you want. Okay. So we say if X is greater than get world size, or Y is greater than get world size, we will return false. Otherwise, we're going to do this stuff and return true. Typically, for this, you'd use errors, but we don't have errors. So we're going to treat it like C and just return true and false. And C, you return 0 and 1 for exit codes, but we'll live. We'll live. Okay. And actually, this is not true either. This needs to be flipped. So this is how much more we need to move to get to X or to Y. And X is east-west, Y is north-south. So let's keep that in mind. Because now we're going to do some fun stuff. Which is that for I in range delta X. Oh, if this is negative, that's an issue, right? What does range return to negative numbers? Python. So if you've never programmed before, a lot of programming is looking at documentation. Okay. It shouldn't be a problem to use negatives. It'll just give me a range from 0 to the negative number, I guess is how this works. So like say our delta X is -7, it'll give us 0, -1, -2, -3, all the way to -6. And I want to check if, oh shit, what buttons did I just click? I was in Restream. I was in Twitch, not Restream. Okay. If delta X is less than 0, we will move to my left, which is west. Move. I'm not used to thinking of left and right as east and west, because that's not what north, south, east, and west is. Else, we will move east. And then we'll do the same thing for Y. Delta Y, if Y is less than 0, we'll move south. Otherwise, we'll move north. Cool. And then we'll cap this off by returning true. Cool, cool. This should work. And now, let's pause this or stop it. I'm going to import movement. And then before the loop, I'm going to movement dot go to, let's set an X and Y that we want. Let's go for this second sunflower here from the top. So that's 429. And I'm expecting we're going to be 1 off. But I don't know. Is it 429? Yeah. 429. Cool. So now this is going to run a bunch of stuff. I was very close. So the error... What the hell? Oh, it's capitals in Python, that's right. So the negative number, because it was like down here, it moved this way, was incorrect. But the positive number was correct. Let me add some code for debugging here. Print range minus 7. Range 0 to -7. Right. That's fine. I was kind of hoping it was going to print the entire range, but maybe that was stupid of me to assume. Let me assign this to a variable and see if that works. Range... And then I want this to hopefully interpret as a string. I don't know. No? Well, alright. Shit. I could just have it print I, right? Print I. Print I. Where is my debug? It's like output.txt, right? Can I cause a warning to happen or an error? Let's cause an error. That should pop me up something, right? Oh. 3, 4, 6, 7. Oh, you can from here? Open a new info window. I am dumb as shit. Button general. Output. Oh, thank you. This is our little debug screen. So we went 0 to 9, and then 10 to 18. No, that was just 0 to 18. What? Why was delta y not different? I'm confused. So it's just not moving to the left. Just west. Print delta y. Come on now. Come on now. Ten and 0. I understand my y being 0, but this should have moved me 10 to the left, and it just didn't. Okay, is there an abs function in this game? Let me see. I know I could manually calculate the absolute value. It says it is. We'll see. I might have to import it. Okay, where are we at now? Now it's moving over there. I don't know why it swings back and forth when it writes. That's very strange. Did I do it? Should we go into 429? Which is this right here. That looked correct to me. That looked correct to me. Yeah, let me dock movement under crops. And also pull all of the unnecessary print statements out of it now. In general, don't use print. You can use quick print, assuming you've unlocked it. Wait, really? Is that under this? Oh. Well, I wish I had known about that. Thanks for telling me. In general, I don't like print statements unless it's logging something. If it's just for debugging, using print statements generally is not a good idea. But I'm also not able to use a debugger with this unless I do the simulate stuff. And that seems like, why would I need that? Anyway. and turn that loop off really quick. There we go. That works now. Okay, what is the fastest way to get to this? 3029. Let's see if it actually takes it that way. It should go this way, but maybe not. No, it's taking the long way. Do I care? Do I care? I don't think I care. Plus, I think that could break things at some point in the process. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna pretend like this does not loop. Just treat it as a flat plane. But now I've got to go to, which is great. Now, I need to define some special stuff about drones. So I've got some movement. I need some drone. Which when we get new drones, this will be important. For now, I want to have drones. Usually you'd give this an object, but I don't think I have objects in this flavor of Python, which is just normal Python with stuff taken out. But I think I can use a function. So it'll be def init drone, and I want to give it a starting position on XY, a size, which will be its bounding rectangle, and this XY will be the lower left corner of that rectangle. What music? There. Trying to figure out what I want to name this. Width and length. And then we need to give it a task, which I hope is not taken. It is not. And the task is going to be what function I want it to do. So all this will do at the start is it will init the drone that we're on, which currently we only have one. That will go to X and Y. And then it will do some stuff with width and length here in a minute. This might be different based on the task, though. Because not every task is to be moving the same. What is that sound? It's like a high-pitched whine. No, chat is overlaying the game a bit. Let me move it. There we go. Should now be able to read chat a bit clearer. The width and the length are fine, and then the task is going to be part of this crops. Maybe the width and the length just gets passed into certain tasks, and we'll just keep it like this for now. So the only initting it's actually doing is moving to its position. Because I need to write some more movement stuff. Okay. Now I don't want it to actually run this loop. This main loop is no longer needed. I will define it somewhere else. I'll have to find out where to move this interweave function as well. This might move like inside the tree planting. Or I guess this can move to harvest, right? Yeah, let's move this to harvest. I could actually keep this as more of a general function if I just set a new library to run it. Where did it go? There we go. Sure, general. Did I spell that word right? I don't think so. Runs. What does this do? This runs functions based on checkerboard pattern. And the pattern is based on current position. Sure. Now when I need that, I'll have it. Give me the window. Come on, give me the window. There we go. Alright. What now? Now I'm going to test the init just to make sure it's working correctly. And I don't need harvest or crops currently. Or movement. Drone needs movement. Import drone. And I'm going to init drone. I want to draw a 6x6 circle starting on 614. Or not circle, square. 614. Yeah, I know it's an error. I'm trying to fix it. 614, I want it to be 6x6. And then the task I'll have it do is nothing for now. Maybe I could just give it a crop to plant. Something so I can check. And let's pick off pumpkins. That'll be good. Import crops, and then this will be crops. Dot. Pumpkin. Cool. Now when I run main, it will error because I'm stupid and I forgot part of this. I can't just use init, right? Go to, I also forgot this. What's up? Movement.goto. Whoop. There we go. Now it moves down here. So I want Pumpkin to change its hat to a pumpkin. So now I can assign roles to the drones. What hats do I have? How do I know what hats I have? I guess I can just print all the hats. Okay, I'll do that. Oh no, I don't need to. It will show it up in the ID. Change hat will be hats dot pumpkin hat. Play. Oh, it's not actually running pumpkin. I'm dumb. Okay. Now, I'm going to have it run its task. And I'm going to give this its bounding box as well. So width and length. So I can run task, width, and length. And it should do pumpkin stuff. I don't know if I want crops. What's up, Chris? I don't know if I want crops to import movement or I just want drone to import movement. Happy New Year. It's the big 2-6. I guess crops can import movement. That's fine. I don't want harvest to import movement though. That seems excessive. Yeah, let's do it like that. So I've got pumpkin. Pumpkin, when it starts, changes your hat. And then it... What does it do then? How do pumpkins work? Pumpkins are the one where you need to replace all of the dead pumpkins, right? Grow like carrots in tilled soil. Planting them costs carrot. When the pumpkins in a square are fully grown, they will grow together to form a giant pumpkin. You have a 20% chance of dying once they're fully grown. So you'll need to replant dead ones. Cool. Right. This will be a bit of jumping back and forth. Now in movement, I've got this go-to. I wanted to find a basic movement function. So, def basic movement. And what this does, we'll just say basic. Yeah, I like this game. It's fun programming. I'm not big on programming after work, but this game has made it more fun to actually program when I'm supposed to be done for the day. So, and I've not done a lot of movement-based programming. I can't say exactly what programming I do, but moving objects around is not something that is in my repertoire just yet. Okay, basic will take a width and a length. Should be width and height. It should be width and height, right? No, width and length. I don't care. We'll just know that height is up and down, or that length is up and down. Uh-oh, I'm losing it. Now what do I want this to do? Basic. Moves the drone. vertically up. What is the name for this type of scanning pattern? Is the drone north, east, south, west? Full width and height and length. And the movement is reversed. Does this teach you, or should you know how to code? This will walk you through a lot of stuff. So there's like a whole progression tree of things that you get. And you start with just really basic stuff like loops. And then later on you get math operators, if statements, comparators, variables, functions, things like that. It walks you through it pretty slow. It's not going to give you all the... It doesn't hold your hand too much. It still lets you actually solve the problems, but a few of them have hints, right? And it's all using its own special API for actually manipulating the field. So, and it's teaching you Python. So if you're expecting to learn a typed language like C, this isn't it. But Python's still cool, especially if you're starting out. I started out learning Java, and then JavaScript. And then I did a bunch of C in college. C is fun. Basic width and length. Okay, movement is reversed. And position width, length. Okay. So what this means is that if I have a 6x6 grid, right? If I start here and I have 6x6, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we snake down, and then we snake up, and then we snake this way, this way, this way, and then movement is reversed to final position, let's say. And then once we hit the end, right, we can't move any further, either north, south, east, or west. Then we just reverse the order and we go back. So essentially we're just gonna have the drone scan over a region, which I guess is better. And then we can give it something to do at every square. So we'll give it a task. So like scan grid, right? And then it'll run this function task at every square. So now, well, I guess we'll see, right? So this will be 4i in range width. I'm assuming, because I'm going to be nice to myself and give me nice clean numbers in the future, that this is all going to be positive numbers, and I'm not going to worry too much about it. I could add checking and things, but without error handling, that's going to be messy, so I don't want to. It was very easy to add that check. Okay, now the numbers have to be positive. Cool. So for I in range of width, no, we're to go range length. And this is going to be a while loop, right? While true. We go up to the top of length. Okay, and then I need the current direction, right? This will be fun. This is where I need general. Also, I'm not very good at spelling, so bear with my awful spelling. This takes a direction. And it returns the opposite. So if dir equals north, then we're going to give it south. I could do this with dictionaries, but this is simple and is not going to grow in directions. Turn south. LF dir equals south. Turn north. LF dir equals east. Turn west. LF dir equals west. Turn east. And then for our default case, which is an else, we will, where is it, quick print? Well, this case should never happen, so it'll just panic. Oh, it's very small for you. There we go. Error, expected comma. Oh, hang on. So this just toggles the direction you pass in. Did I spell direction right? No, I did not. Nope. See, this does not look correct. No, but it is correct, though, which is really annoying. I don't like that. Okay. Now we're going to move back to movement. And I will import general. Okay. Turn false. Okay, so now we need, oh, that's why I had an extra line there. We need our length direction. And we're always going to start in the bottom left corner, since I'm making sure that this is, that the width and length have to be greater than 0. So the first direction it moves is always north in this scanning pattern. And we have our width direction. which is always east. Or to the right, this way. Now, I move up for the length. So north. Move elder. Check this. And then when we hit the range length, okay, and this is going to be for J. This should be I. This should be J down here. For I is range width. So basically, if we start down here, we've got a 6x6. The width is going to be 6, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Position 5, 0. Because it starts at 0. And then we'll go up to 5, 5. Right here. So it's going to say, for these rows, go up, and then go east, and then go down. Like this. And then we're going to do some boundary checking, right? What song was that? Rocket. Cool. Pardon me. Now, when we hit the end of this, we want to move to the width direction. Right, so this is like, we've hit the end, now we move this way. Right. Once we've moved that direction, we want to toggle general dot direction toggle our length direction. Okay? Okay. And then when we hit the when we hit this end, we want to toggle. So outside this loop, we want to toggle our width direction. And that should work. And then, yeah, just every time we go to a new spot, we'll run our task. And for the time being, I'm going to clear everything at the start. Okay. In the future, this won't clear. This will do something else. Cool. And our first task is pumpkin. No. Internet. Internet, why did you do this to me? F in chat. F is for fucking internet. What are we doing? Internet company, I just paid you. I just paid you today. Have some respect. Quite rude. It's even saying dropped frame 0, which is not true. I just watched it drop a shit ton of frames. The stream restarted. What is it? What do you mean no dropped frames? Oh, maybe since the stream actually started itself. You know, I just got streaming on TikTok available. Should I do that at some point? Is that like a thing that you're meant to do? I don't really post on TikTok. Maybe one day. The bitrate took a shit. Sorry everyone at home. That's Call your local Wi-Fi and tell them to stop it. Are we back? I think we're back. Okay. The thing I just noticed is that when I give it a task to do, I need to pass in something specific, which is very annoying. Okay, I have a new idea. Under drone, the drone will be given a hat. This is new tech we've got. So if I want this to be the pumpkin task, I'll give it the pumpkin hat. Defined there. And then in the drone in it, it will put on its hat first. Cool? Cool. You don't have TikTok. Yeah, I have it on my phone, but only because I sometimes get notifications. Most of my stuff just doesn't get shown to people, so I don't like make a big effort. Crops pumpkin, hats pumpkin. So then this will put on the hat. And then this won't take a width or a length because we're adults. And it will choose a movement type. Which in this case is scan grid. Now how do I know that I want it to be scan grid is my big question. So the issue I'm coming up with now is that when I give it this task, it needs to execute the task here. I'm giving it a function essentially. When I give crops pumpkin as a task right here, it's running this, which has no arguments. And then here, this has arguments, which is not going to be fine. Unfortunately. Quite annoying. This needs to be in Python. There's a Stack Overflow article about this. I'm gonna read it. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. This is fun. Alright, I need to pass arguments to it now. Which is not what I want. Quite annoying. Lambda. Okay, hang on, I gotta read. This is very, very, good narration on my point. I've never had to do this before in Python, so this will be fun. Oh, weird. Okay. So I should be able to... I'm gonna move the hat back. The hat is returning to its natural state. In the pumpkin land. Apparently I can do something called a lambda function. We'll see if... We'll see if I can figure this out. And if this is a valid expression in... Well, ABS was, and that wasn't in the documentation, so we'll see. So essentially what I can do is I can define a function variable. Like this is the idea. Lambda. Yeah. I think. Okay, and then we take the arguments and then the expression. Which is something I know about. What if it takes no arguments? It just takes this. That's all I want. And then I can give this to ScanGrid. That'll be in movement. Movement.ScanGrid. Which takes the arguments, a width and a length and a task. And then the task is F. I think. And now when it runs F, it should run this. I think. I've never used Lambda before. I've always heard it existed and just never found a use case for it. Is this right? Is this what I wanted? Let's test it. There shouldn't be any code here. Uh-oh. Can I do this? Okay, let me try this instead. It really wants you to have an argument. A. There we go. There shouldn't be any code here. Damn it. Does Lambda not work? Lambda is not available. Oh, you can't do like kind of basic stuff. Or not basic stuff, but stuff that you should be able to do to make properly efficient code. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna do something a little silly then. Can I define a function for a function? I know I can in C. Yes. Cool. I'm gonna do it like this then. Defining a function and a function. We're gonna see if they have this set up. I wonder if they're just running their own interpreter inside the game. FF. Which will take an entity. Or no, it won't take an entity. It'll just do this. And then this is going to run... Uh-oh. I clicked Alt instead of Control. And use pumpkin. And then I can just pass F. Hopefully this works. No. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Stopped erroring. Oh, this doesn't need a hat, right? Okay, let's actually make sure my code is a little bit clean. Drop the hat requirement. Just give it the pumpkin task. Hit play. Well, I made a cool pattern. Is that what I wanted to do? Okay, let's stop this. Let me double check my math. So we run task, which plants a pumpkin. That worked. That works fine. That's great. I like that. And then we move up and we do the task again. We move up, task, move up, task, move. And we move east. It moves up one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's moving one too many times, so this should be length -1. And this should probably be width -1 as well. I'm making assumptions, but well, I'll be okay. So we move up here, and then it'll move east. And it's continuing to move north, which is not something I expected. Because I'm a fucking idiot. I need to reassign these. Otherwise it does the same thing over and over again in nauseam. Okay. Well, this is closer. Certainly closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're on the path. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Let me run this at 0, 0, just so I can keep better track of everything. Okay. We're getting there, everyone. We're doing it. It's a little sad music, but we'll live. Hmm. So it's getting to the top and it's not doing this last one. Oh, because it moves and then it does the task. I see. I see. Okay. I'm gonna make one small change here. We're gonna move the same length and width. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. We're just gonna do the task again here. And then that should be fine. It's just that the last iteration of this here needs to do the task again. So essentially, we're breaking out of this early, and then so we can move this way. Yeah, that should work. That's it. Beautiful. Am I out of carrots? Didn't have the required items to plant. Okay. That's chill. Right, but now I can assign this to any location as long as it's within the full grid. In fact, I can plant all, anything I want. Let's set, carrots to work like this, and then that'll be funny. What do carrots... We need a width, we need a length. We'll define F in here. We'll give it a carrot hat. I'm sure that exists. And then we run the same scan grid like before. No. I know that I can generalize this stuff. But I'm not going to. At some point, you have to know when to stop optimizing. And this is, I think, kind of perfect. Not pumpkin hat. We need carrot hat. Carrot hat. There we go. And then I just change this to carrot. Crop stack carrot. Get world size. And now this should plant a full world of carrots. Did that? I think it worked. I guess we'll see when it goes back the other way. You know what's not going to work right about this, though? Oh, shoot. We're a little bit inefficient on the harvesting. Because by the time we get to the end, the last one's not grown enough yet. So we're going to miss these, and then we're going to harvest a bunch, and there's going to be a little bit left at the end. I don't know what to do about that. On big enough grids, you can change the way that things move so that when you get back to the top, you go this way, and then you snake down like this. I guess I want to see how big of a problem it actually is. And if I add watering and things and fertilizer, does it get better? For pumpkins, it shouldn't matter, I don't think. But we'll see. Is that a carrot hat? I think it's like a wreath of carrots. We do kind of do that because we don't reverse the direction and go back up. Once we get to the bottom, we go left and then up. So it's kind of fine. I don't think it matters all that much. I'm gonna let it finish running on the full grid and we'll go from there. The reason we need different movement types, by the way, is because each one of these is going to be a little bit different. So like sunflowers, you need to move kind of erratically to be optimal. Mazes, obviously to solve a maze, which is something that'll be really fun. Because mazes are graphs, and graphs is everyone's favorite type of programming. It took me a lot to not do all the math for solving the mazes on my own over the previous nights. Because this game's just been running idle in the background. And you can see how much faster the drone is when it's skipping rows. Moves like lightning. Which I guess is cool. This gives you a really, not tactile, but a very intuitive understanding of the actual cost of the operations you're running. Because it doesn't seem like much, but the difference between running one instruction and running two is literally double the time. Even if it's just one extra instruction. Which is something to think about. Now, obviously, this is running way, way slower than my clock on my PC. So if this was running at the actual speed that your computer's running at, you wouldn't even notice. It wouldn't come up until you run like really expensive stuff. But if you're running on older hardware, or you're running on modern limited hardware, like I want to say Raspis. Is that right? No, Arduino. Raspis are like computers, but if you're running on like modern Arduino, that stuff, you don't have all the compute you want to be able to just be flagrant about running whatever code you need. So you gotta pay attention to that stuff. This game is very good for new programmers, I think. And if you just want to mess around after work. I haven't had to touch SQL, so I'm happy. I haven't had to do SQL. I haven't had to write documentation. Oh my gosh. If you're looking to become a programmer, just know that like half your time is spent researching how you're going to solve problems. Because no one's going to pay you to solve something that's already solved. Unless they're making poor decisions with their money. So you need to figure out how you're going to solve it. And then like another 25% of your time is spent proving to people that your solution will, one, work, and two, should be implemented. And then like 15% of your time is spent documenting all the changes you made. And that leaves you with not a whole lot of time left to actually write the code. Obviously those numbers change. Oh, I just punched my mic. Those numbers change based on what project you're on and who you work for, but that's kind of how my stuff is broken down. And the time you spent not programming goes up the bigger the company you work at. That's part of why you hear companies like, I don't want to name names, but the big gaming companies often have programmers that spend a bunch of time, or that work a bunch of overtime, because their schedules are so caught up in all of the minutia of corporate overhead that they can't actually work at the proper pace. If you took some of the overhead away, it would be a lot better. For reference, and I can't talk too much about my job, but when I am planning what work I'm going to do, I assume that 2 full work days, so 16 total hours, just disappear for corporate overhead reasons. Whether it's writing docs or sitting in meetings, things like that. Okay, what's next? Now this works. I'm gonna test it one last time. I'm gonna plant carrots in like a specific spot. So let's do like a 4x4 grid. Actually, let's do an odd number, right? So a 3x3. Let's do a rectangle as well. 3x4 at 10 or 2110. That should be fine, right? So I'm gonna go to 2110, and it will just do carrots in that one spot. Cool, that works, right? That is 3x4, not 4x3. Nice. So now when I have multiple drones, I can run this instruction, or give it this function, to run a specific crop at a specific location, and then I can just plan it out in advance. Like, I want pumpkins to run down here, and I want mazes to run up here, and I want cactuses over here, stuff like that. But for now, I've only got one drone, so I get to run one crop at a time. Which means I need to get ready for maze stuff. Okay. Next. Let's program the pumpkin. I want to make the pumpkin actually function correctly. Which I can just change this def F to be whatever I need it to, right? And that will functionally change what the program is actually doing with this scan. This music is very loud. Let me know if the music is too loud. Oh, it seems fine. I have it turned way down. Alright. And actually, let's switch this over to pumpkin so I can explain my point. I will run it at 0, 0. It'll be a 6x6. Crops. Pumpkin. So, when you plant pumpkins, you see the pumpkins actually combine to be a bigger size, right? But some of the pumpkins break, and when the pumpkins break, they can't combine with their neighbors to be big pumpkin. So now instead of harvesting, we don't harvest. What we need to do is we need to check and verify that every pumpkin in our grid is 1 fully ripe and 2 not dead. So let me write this down. This is a good thing. If you have a complex problem and you can describe it in words, do this. So this is going to happen every time here. the first thing we want to do is we want to check in a very predictable spot. Right, so let's say I want to check at width, what's the last one in the first loop? So we go, whatever the last square is going to be. Width, length is fine. Width, length is this square. It doesn't really matter. You can also check at the last square. Cool. And this will be slightly inefficient, but it will be how I like it, which is slightly inefficient, I guess. I don't know. It's set square width length. Yeah, let me zoom way in on this so that we're just focused on the code. Set square width length. We want to check that all pumpkins. Oh, I caps locked myself. Are either grown and not dead. So essentially, can harvest needs to return true for every pumpkin. Which means I need some sort of data structure to manage that. Now, here's a very interesting... This is going to be very strange. And I'm not sure how the scoping works here. Honestly, this is something I just don't know, because I've not done this before. If I put a data structure out here that keeps track of how many pumpkins we've checked. Oh wait, no, I don't even need to do that. Nope, don't need to do a set square at all. We just have a counter, right? So we get total pumpkins is equal to width times the length. Because that's the area of our square here. So we got 36 total pumpkin squares here. And then we want scanned pumpkins. Or let's just say healthy pumpkins, right? Something to note here is, let's start that at 0. Something to note here, if we go to pumpkins, can harvest always returns false on dead pumpkins. So we don't even need this. What does replenish return? Does it return anything? Harvest should return true. Right? Most things aren't going to check this. But for pumpkins, very important. Because we're already doing this check to do the harvest anyway, right? Can harvest or get entity type entities dead pumpkins. So, oh wait, no, that won't work. I guess I'll break it out into 2. if get any type dead pumpkin. The reason I split this up is because when it can just harvest it, I want it to return true. Oh, but I don't want it to harvest until we're all the way complete. Okay, hang on. I will do pumpkin management completely outside of this function then. Sure. Okay, let's set up something here. Def. No. Nope. Not what I want. I do essentially want this function. I just want to modify the can harvest bit. I might come back and re-optimize this later. Yeah, I'm just gonna steal this. Well, I'll live. Okay, we don't want this to return at all. Yep, that's the incorrect ground type. This needs to be harvest, right? Till is fine. Harvest.replant condition is fine. What is that set to? None or entities grass, right? Plant entity, nope. There should be entities.pumpkin. So if we can harvest, we want to update healthy pumpkins. Plus equals 1. If I guess this will be elif, right? Get entity type equals entities dot dead pumpkin. We will harvest it just so it replants. And then here, if total pumpkins is equal to total pumpkins. Oh, but we don't want recounts. Oh, that's kind of bad. So my trouble here, because I don't want to build out a grid. That seems like too much effort. If I move this stuff over here, that's fine. So our little drone snakes around. and it's going to count the amount of pumpkins it's found that are healthy, which just means that it could harvest them. And it needs to be equal to the total number of pumpkins we've got. Now the issue is, when does that ever reset? Because it'll just go back and count pumpkins it's counted before. So we really want to make sure it's counting at the correct spot. What if we only check it 0, 0? No, but then it could have gone back. This would save. I'd be saved by having the copter just move back to the start instead of looping the other way. There's got to be some simple way to do this I'm just blanking on. There has to be. It's a very simple problem to not have an elegant solution like that without having to waste a bunch of time. Now I'd considered that whenever we hit a dead pumpkin, we just reset the counter to 0. But the issue is that, like, let's say we're moving down here, which is correct. So we hit here, we set this to 0 now, and then we count these. And let's pretend this, or let's go from here. So we count this as 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0. Right, so we're counting extras before the end. We really only want to count when we're ever in a corner. But even then, the only corners that ever count the full gamut. We need to know the starting and ending position. Which I can calculate. The starting position is always... This is just making shit more complicated, isn't it? It's always the position the function starts on. Who cares? Yeah, start X and start Y. Get position X. Can you assign variables like that? I hope so. I'm gonna try it. And then the final position. Can I set this to be a tuple? Let's do it like this. This will be easier to check. And I need to calculate the final position. So for odd grids, the final position is this top corner, or for odd widths. And for even widths is this bottom corner. Okay. If width mod 2 equals 0, so if it's even, is this right? Am I stupid? Wait, hang on. I might be stupid. I feel like my BS alarm is going off in my brain. No, that's not what I want. That is what I want. Is that what I want? Okay, hang on. I was close. Say start, and then we'll do end. And then this will be my position X. Get pose X. Length, right? No. Get position Y plus length. And then if the width is odd, which means I can just use an else. Dumb, I'm dumb. There we go. Okay. So that's hat logic. This is function logic, and then this is the actual execution. So now we only want to check at the ending positions. Cool. Dead pumpkins. Harvest replant condition. Right. Now, at the very end, we want to check the state of the pumpkins. What will that state be? If get position X. Current position equals this. If current position nope, just can't spell. Is at the start or the end? Then we want to check if healthy pumpkins is equal to total pumpkins. If it is, we want to harvest. Otherwise, and including that condition, we want to set healthy pumpkins to 0. Okay. Pumpkin, there we go. Now again, I don't know how the scoping works, so I don't know if F will have access to this stuff when it's being run in movement. But we'll see. I sure hope it does. Otherwise, I want to change how I do this. Or just pass these into the function. I don't know. Cool. I guess let's just send it, see what happens. Oh, it errored. Come on. Why can't I zoom in? There we go. Ground type by entity has never been defined. It should be defined in Harvest. Harvest with an S. Did I mess up the same thing here? Yeah. Oh, dumb. Entity, I messed that one up, didn't I? Okay, another error. Healthy pumpkins. Try to read the variable healthy pumpkins before a value was assigned to it. So it does not have access to that, which is not my favorite thing to have happened. And I can't give it a range of args because you can't do that. It doesn't work. Like I can't pass an argument list in functions. I could write that. I could have args always be a list. Because you can't do list comprehension. So let's do that. That should be fun. And by fun, I mean I don't want to. At all. Okay, can we get the error out of here? There we go. Task and then args, which is going to be a list. Wait, but I can't do that. It doesn't work. Unless I want to unpack the args every time I run the task, which is very inefficient. Why? Why is there like a little tiny pumpkin? Look at this guy. It's the smallest pumpkin. Okay. Oh, pig. Why not just have list comprehension in your language? That's very annoying. Exceptionally frustrating. This makes it very just kind of difficult. So in Python, you can do something where you basically give the end of your definition for a function kind of an empty list, right? So you can just tack on however many arguments you want, assuming that you'll need to add arguments to a function like task here. But you can't do that. It doesn't work. And these are out of scope. So out of scope just means that when you're actually running this function, it can't see this stuff. Now, normally it would be able to, but it's running strangely. So I need to think. What? Why can't we use list comprehension though? And the trouble is unpacking it each time I run this function is going to be untenable. It just won't work. It will just be incredibly slow. No, they're not available. I really wanted to. I also disagree with the idea that that's not a basic function that people will use. I've done it many times in other languages, but you should be able to do it. I guess I could give these... No, but then it wouldn't work if I had more than one pumpkin drone, right? I was gonna say I could give them global locations. Or I could rewrite the movement for each different task, but that seems obtuse and strange, and I don't want to. That seems annoying. Maybe if I have some caffeine, it'll assist me. No. I think my only option now is to just have a different movement for each different crop type, which is very, very annoying. Some would say incredibly annoying. But it means that I won't really have a movement package outside of this. And it's probably going to mean that I break out every crop into its own file, which is frustrating. So let's do that. I don't like conceding this. This is certainly a feels bad moment. I demand as a player of the video game that we get list comprehension yesterday. It's very important to me. Movement. What else did I import for this? Harvest. Yeah, you'll see what I'm gonna do here in a second. This is gonna be an epic play where I make my code shitty. You know what? No. We need something that builds up a little bit more. So you can see the majesty of my awful code. Okay, now we're just gonna steal the scan grid. I will still use that for something, but not now. Oh, that's a good question. Can I define this function? And will it use the scope above? Okay, let me add a little bit. Movement. And then instead of task, it'll just be F. This will be called task. Run each movement. There we go. And then we'll do some knitting. Knit. Cool. And now, in main, I'm going to import pumpkin. We're on pumpkin.main. Cool. Let's see if this does it for me. I will say this isn't doing it for me because of reasons. But let's see if it works. My guess is probably not the first try. No. No. Healthy pumpkins before value was assigned to it. Okay. So this doesn't mean anything? Well, that's frustrating. Here, now that I can do some sure. Definitions. Functions. Under definitions, I want start, which is going to be equal to none to start. End, which is equal to none. I really want this to be instanced though, and I can't use classes, right? Okay. So we don't have access to classes, which is very basic programming. Oh. But we have dictionaries, so I guess we could pass this info around, which is annoying. This is very frustrating. Is it going to create a copy of the dictionary when I go to pass that in? Because if not, I could just give it the start, the end, the total, and the healthy. Hmm. What could I do? And no pointers either. That's just a Python thing. I might be the one person on the planet who really likes pointers and thinks they're a good idea. They just make so much sense to me. I want to know where my stuff is in memory. And I want to be able to touch it. I want to go there and I want to touch the variables. And I can't. I cannot, because there's no pointers in Python. The thing is, I could use global start, end, total, and healthy variables, but then, if I do that, then you can't use this as an instance, right? So anytime you call main again, you'll be interacting with these variables, which is not good. It just means you can't have two pumpkin patches, which isn't the end of the world. But I'm annoyed. Okay. I have my brain is braining. Dictionaries. My brain is kind of braining. Where's my other dictionary? I got this one. Okay. So, if I did this, if I do function args, and that is like this. So we've got start is start. And we've got end, which is, you're not going to believe this, end. We've got total, which is total pumpkins. Let me just make these the same for readability's sake. And then healthy pumpkins. Which is healthy pumpkins. Pumpkins. There we go. I spelled this wrong. Whoops. Now, can I put this back to the original framework I had? Is my genius overflowing? It may well be, friends. It may well be. Okay, hang on. Hang on. We're going back to crops. This may not make sense to you all now, but trust me, my genius is unbounded. Yeah, that's the word. Args. And then we're going to pass an args to the scan grid. Instead of unpacking it, we're going to leave it packed. We're going to leave it packed. Right? And in task, we just pass an args. And we use the superior power of the dictionary to do some shit, I guess. Now in here, now we've got args, right? Movement dot scan grid, what was it, X or width length task, which is going to be F, and args, which is func args. I'll just make it args, that's fine. No, I want to keep it separate just so we know it's not the same. This is a little bit messy, but you gotta hang on. So now, in here, now we've got access to these numbers up here. We just need to make it a little bit better. So this will be args healthy pumpkins plus equals 1. And we're gonna use this thing all over the place. Args start. Right? Args end. Args healthy pumpkins. My keyboard is dying. This music's hyping me up so much. Now, witness true genius. Wait. Hang on. Hold. Please hold. Who needs your own pumpkin file when you've got crops? Okay. Now, what should happen? We make drone. Drone at 0 with height and width 6. And then drone moves like this and does task with args. Args defined in pumpkin here. Args defined in pumpkin here. Args get passed to movement. Args get checked here. Profit. Damn it, it errored again. Pumpkin doesn't exist. Well, fucking... Why not? Oh, I changed it to main. Pumpkin. Pumpkin. Okay, watch this shit. Pumpkin doesn't exist. No, that error's not it. Total pumpkins has never been defined. It's in there. Look right here. I spelled it wrong. Pumpkins. Oh, look at this. Let's see if it actually works. And it checks, and it goes back through, and it fixes everything. And that one's, is it just gonna keep failing? It, wait, hang on. Does it never get to the optimal case where it's like, we've got a full pumpkin now? I'd love to not be scrolling up. If Arg's healthy pumpkin and Arg's total pumpkins. What'd I do wrong? I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. Hang on, let me actually save. I wouldn't want to lose all this progress. I feel like I did a pretty good job. And it seemed to be working, and then we just get to the end here and it kind of shits the bed. Healthy pumpkins and Arg's total pumpkins harvest. Okay, let's stop. So it stops flashing. It's time to think. Let me quick print. Just some values. First, this value. Healthy pumpkins. And then we're to quick print total pumpkins. Args. Total pumpkins. And then we're going to test it. And that one's going to keep breaking for some reason. Okay, now we're to pause. And I'm going to take a look at our check here. So our healthy pumpkins is 60. Healthy pumpkins 0 and then 36. And then 10? What the fuck? What? Okay, I'm miscounting the healthy pumpkins. Hey, you stop that. My cat is getting into business. Hang on. You stop that. No more. No more. That's enough. That's enough. I think he's been scolded enough. Okay. Back to it. So if can harvest, we update healthy pumpkins. Why do these numbers never line up? Very confusing. $36.59. It's always too high. But it should be resetting back to 0, right? Healthy pumpkins equals 0. Right? So if we're at the end, or the start, we check if the healthy pumpkins that we've tracked so far is equal to the total number of pumpkins we've tracked so far. Which is 46. It should not be 46. But then we reset to 0. So here we check, we reset to 0, and then we go again. Oh, but it never counts the one it was just on. So maybe we set it to... Maybe we check first? I don't want to check before and after. Huh. Why is this the way that it is? And if that's the case, why don't I ever see it when it's at 35 or whatever? It's always set to 59. Which does not make sense. So it counts each one individually, and then it gets to here, and it should check again. Right, because the start position is 0, 0, and the end position is 6, 0. 0, 0. 5, 0. What? That doesn't make sense. You know what? That is definitely the reason that this is happening, and I'm upset. Yeah, it's inclusive, so we have to count the 0 position to begin with. Okay, this should be fixed now. Okay. We're doing pumpkins. And fuck. 35. Okay, so it's not counting the last one. Hmm. Hmm. Because we move right after we check it. Should we check it before? What if we just check right as we get there? I think this will fix it. But I thought that everything else I tried would fix it too. Okay. Pumpkin time. That didn't work. Stop moving so much. Freaking me out. Why didn't that work? It's not 25 or 35? Well, 35 is fine, right? Yeah, 35 is fine. Why is it still 35? Oh, it's just not counting a bunch of them too, because it doesn't reverse your direction. I kind of need that to be correct. Okay, let me go through and fix my frickin' scanning. Nope, stop. So the issue is that at the end, it doesn't turn directly around. Basically, when it gets to the end here, it will go back this direction and then go up. So now it's like off a cycle, right? Am I incorrect by that? Yeah, just miscounting, I think. So at the very last point in its movement, wait, bam, bam, and then here, and then it toggles its direction from down to up and its direction from east to west. So then it should go back up. Like this. It's here. Am I losing my marbles? Moving down. Let's watch the drone's behavior really quick. Yeah, when it got here, it moved this direction, which does not seem correct. Actually, can I step through just on the movement phase? Let me see. If I pause. No, it's moving through everything individually, which is a bummer. That also needs to be fixed. So, the end, it changes to go back the other direction. Does it actually move that direction? Yeah, move W dir. Yeah, but does it? Let me... My stream deck is really in my way. Let's take all this code down here. I can get rid of this pumpkin thing now. Yeah, delete. Let's trace it through its runtime here, right? So we do for I in width -1, so it's gonna go from 0 to 5, which is correct because the width is 6. And it's gonna go from J, or from 0 to length -1, which is 0 to 5 because its length is 6. So for every row, we start right here. We perform our task, and then we move in the L direction, which is north. Task, north, task, north, task, north, task, north, until we get to 5. And then we do our task, and we move W direction, which is east. And then we flip our L direction to south, and we do it again. South, 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 south. Move east. North, 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 east. Until we get to the final position here. On the final loop, we've done the final loop of J. We were moving south, so our L direction flips to north. L direction flips to north. And then we flip our W direction to west. So now we're going to go west. We don't actually want to move west, right? Here's what I'm thinking could have happened. Maybe, let me check and make sure that... Yeah, it just returns west. It doesn't actually move us. And then it should go back the other direction, right? Because then we go back into this loop, or we restart everything. So we've gone, flip the direction, go back up to our while, we go back into for all of these. For J, range length, -1. So this way. Then we move north. North, 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 then west. But that's not what it actually looks like is happening. Do I have this speed unlocked? Can I set speed? No, I need 500 treasure for that. I'd love to turn down the speed quite a bit. Why does it move again? West. That doesn't make sense. Right, I'm not crazy here. That doesn't make sense. It should go back north here. Wait. Did I just see it move east onto this square? At each position, I need to know its position. Hang on. Every time you run your task, quick print your position. Get position X. Get position Y. Okay. Okay, does this ever tick up to 6? No, it gets to 5-1, and then it goes to 4-0. Right, let's take this down here. So let's come with me. Come on. We can trace through this. Okay. So we started at 0-1. Is the first thing it logs. Which should not be correct. That doesn't make sense. Or no, it logs 0-0. And then 0-1, 2, 4. It should log 0-5. I don't know why it isn't. This should run 0-5, right? Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. I'm kind of confused. I see what's going on. It's because we're skipping some prints. Because we print here, but we don't actually print here. We move to this space, and then we immediately move out of it. I think. Position X, get position Y. When we get here to 5-1, 5-0, I mean, we're also not logging it, but then we go to 4-0 immediately. Which means at some point we're moving west. I'm not incorrect, right? That doesn't make any sense. Like, we toggle our direction at the very end of the loop, at which point we should be moving vertically again, not horizontally. Is the game bugged? That'd be disappointing. I'm only gonna have it print its before and after this toggle. I wanna see. Five. Okay, so before the toggle and then after. And then just before each task I do. Okay. So 0, 0. Then we go all the way to 5, 5. We go 5, 5, 5, 4, 5. Wait. This is 5, 5. Why is it toggling its direction right here? Okay, I solved it. It's not the game, it's me. It's me and my dumb. My issue is that these aren't actually looping correctly. They should be to length, they should be to width, and I just need to not be fucking stupid about it and put the proper checks in place. Okay. So now we get into a situation here where we're at a length we should not be. Essentially in this last one we want to do our task, but we don't want to move north again. Same thing for south. I'm gonna drop something on the floor. I guess I'll find it later. So instead of doing the dumb thing and being dumb, I just need to add a check if j does not equal length minus 1. Then we do this. And then for this move, if I does not equal width minus 1. Which is what I should have done at the start, and I was trying to get all fancy with it, and then I completely destroyed the math on how this is going to work. So the reason that was breaking, if it's difficult to follow, which I know loops kind of are, there isn't enough indentation. What are you on about? Oh. The reason that was breaking is because I had length minus 1 and width minus 1. It thought that the square was a little bit too short. So it would get to 5, 5, which is up here, and it should be ending down here. And it would think it's at the end of the loop and then switch its direction, so that when it got to the bottom, it would move this way, instead of just turning around. So now, hopefully this should work. And if it doesn't, I will weep tears of salt tears. And now the check should be happening in the correct place. Okay, so now the checks aren't happening in the correct place. Yeah, so we're getting to 35 or we're going to 1. Where's my issue then? It's with this check, right? Yeah. So let's say we're here. Let's say we've got the full thing and we start at the start. We can harvest it, so we add 1. Same thing until we get to here. We should be adding... Oh, but then when we get to the end, we check and it's only 35. That makes sense. Because we haven't added the last one yet. So what do I want to do about this? I can check it later, but if I check it later, then the first one doesn't get counted. Wait, hang on. I just said the answer. If I check it at the start, the first one does not get counted. So depending on if we're at the start or the end, we need to check in different locations, I believe. What's my cat doing? Hey, what are you doing? So if we're at the start, no, we should be able to check it either. It doesn't matter. It's looping. It just is 35. Okay, I'm going to set this to 1 to start. I'm going to assume there is an healthy pumpkin. Or wait. What if I make this more complex than it has to be? I will go back through and reread all this and see if I'm crazy. Now, that last one's broken. There we go. That worked. It's wasting quite a bit of time. Did I just see it gobble up a pumpkin that was like in... Or, no, I think it was a glitch. A graphics glitch. Is this right? I think this is right. Seems like it works okay to me. Yeah, okay. I'm satisfied with that. Let's move on. Now that I got this one, what do I want to do next? So that's pumpkins. Now we can do sunflowers. Sunflowers are fun. Sunflowers collect the power of the sun. You harvest that power. Planting them works exactly like planting carrots or pumpkins. Harvesting a grown sunflower yields power. There are 10 sunflowers on the farm, and you harvest the one with the largest number of petals. You get 8 times more power. Cool. Right. Okay, I've kind of got an idea of how that's going to work. I actually do need to test the pumpkin one a bit more. Because this is only a 6x6. Now, first let me test in a different spot. So, like, 12, 23, sure. Oh, my cat has found a box to sit in. And pumpkin. Pumpkin, cool. Now let me check pumpkins of different size. Let's do like 10 by 10. It needs to be a square. I should have just set it to be a square, but that's fine. I guess it doesn't need to be. It could be a different size for whatever reason. But now this should give us a giant 10 by 10 pumpkin. It might take a little bit. There we go. Now the next one should... Nice. That was satisfying. Okay. Next crop. Oh, do we want to just set up, like, carrots and all that jazz quickly? Yeah, I guess I should, right? What do trees need to grow? Can we... No? No? Tree? Space. So I've got this function in general called interweave, which allows you to interweave two functions. So I will quickly implement another crop, which will be trees. I guess I can do grass and bushes as well. I mean, this should be already done, right? It's just the interweave for the trees needs to be fixed. It's importing general, import general. And then interweave. Function A can be this one. Oh no, because I can't pass it args. Oh, damn. But I can use defs, right? Def A. Which is just essentially an alias for this. And then def B. Harvest, whatever else. I think grass is necessary. It doesn't really matter. Bushes is more efficient, but grass is fine, right? And then I can interweave A and B. And then that's trees. Oh, it broke. Tree takes 0 arguments. Oh. Right. Width, and I'm just gonna ignore these. Length. Args. It's just required templating for some things, and I don't need to use it. Oh no, not even args. Width and length. Oh, but I don't do the movement at all. Oh, good for me. Hang on. My genius is showing. I did need the width and length. I'm just stupid. Scan this. And I don't need this to be stateful at all, so just width, length, F. And none. Cool. F takes no arguments. You called it with these arguments. Okay. So I need to define F with args and just not use it. I do need an A and B. Not being able to use Lambda functions and things like this is kind of frustrating. Leads to some very strange patterns that I'm not used to. Oh. There we go. Nah. What? Huh? Why is it not working? I mean, it's harvesting grass really good. That's not what I wanted, though. Okay, let's pause. So we're passing it F. F should be journal.interweave A and B. And interweave.A and B should be getting your position and checkerboarding it. That should be working. I just don't know what's going on there. Unless replenish is broken, and maybe I broke that. Any type of replant condition. It's very strange. There's an edge case here I need to solve for. And he's not dead pumpkin. I don't want that to return true. It was, that could be causing some issue. I don't know. Oh. I have no clue why that caused an issue, but it did. That was very strange. This is how it's meant to work, which creates a checkerboard pattern of what you want. Because trees grow slower the more trees around them, so you need to have them all be orthogonal, never adjacent. Cool, so that's trees. Now I can def args. I know args. We do this. We do this. Yeah, and then we just do this over for the grass. And for carrots, right? Oh yeah, we gotta do hats. We gotta do hats. None. Okay, let's do hats for everything. So we got pumpkin hat. Is there a tree hat? Tree hat. Bush hat. But okay, let's go green hat then. Grass can just be the straw hat. What? Straw hat, there we go. And then for sunflower, we need the sunflower hat. But we're not doing sunflower just yet. I will in a moment. First, let me save. Oh my goodness. Okay, grass. Come on. Come on. Oh. Yep. I forgot all this stuff. We need their width and length. This will make a lot more sense when I've got more than one drone. On why I'm doing all this extra work. But now we just harvest grass from a specific area. Let's do carrots. Carrot. And that's good. That worked. We can do bush just to test. Although bushes will make a surprise reappearance in the maze section of the game, which is coming up. Okay. You know what else would be funny? We've got that one section where there could be an error, right? It's not in drone, it's in I don't expect this to happen, which is why I'm putting a funny Easter egg. We just do traffic on. So this is signifying like this drone had an error that you should never be able to get. I don't think that'll ever trigger. Although I had this was at work, and I need to be vague about it, but I wrote some code where there was a section of code that there was a case that you could never ever hit. Like, I did all the math and everything, and you just couldn't actually get to it. The first call I got was about a bug, and someone was like, this isn't working, and I go back, and it's exactly that. That one section of code where I wrote in the error, if it was like, if this section of code has ever run, something has gone horribly, horribly wrong, was the very first bug I found. So I shouldn't say never, right? Because it does come up. Okay, cool. Now we got bushes, we got all sorts of jazz. Good job, me. Next we do sunflowers, but first we're gonna take a break. Or I'm gonna take a break. I guess you guys can do whatever you want. I've pet my cat for a while and I feel better. I was getting a little bit tired. I'm refreshed. I need music though. This is gonna be a lot, isn't it? Nah, we're going for more. We'll go back to Celeste. Celeste is chill. Okay. I've got an idea of how I want to do this, so let's just dive in. So the gimmick with, what are these called? Sunflowers. When you get power, which just speeds up your drone, is that sunflowers have different amounts of petals, and you can measure them, which will tell you how many petals they have. And whenever you harvest the sunflower with the most petals, you get 8 times more power. So here's the game. The game is thusly. The game is thusly. Let's go back to the code. So the first thing I want to do is I want to modify this just a little bit. I don't know if this will be useful later, but I want to write a one-off script to just plant a full square. Plant underscore pass. So this will do one iteration, it won't go through the whole while loop here. It'll do one of these. Oh, I opened Steam. I opened Steam. Go away, Steam. There we go. Is this right? Yeah, this is right. Probably. There we go. Or let's do like single pass. And then this can just use the single passness of it, you know? I also need this. No, I'm just gonna keep it like it is. And we don't need the W direction. I mean, it's just gonna be east, right? We don't need to toggle it. Because when it gets to the end, it's at the end. And then I'm going to single pass, so this will be a def. Def F args. We'll have this. So scan grid, where to go? Single pass. And then I'm going to run this, and we're going to test. Sunflower. We only need 10 of them, so we can do like a 5x5, right? That's 25. A 4x4 is 16. It'll be faster. Just do that. Okay, and that does a single pass. We get to the end. And then we actually need to do a little bit more. So let's collapse harvest, let's collapse main, because we don't need either. Let's collapse movement because we no longer need it. And we can just focus on our crops, which are sunflowers. So, I need to capture the the petal count for each of those. So what I'm going to do is create a dictionary, which I will pass in as the args for F. Right? So we need petals equals empty dictionary. When we do our movement, we will pass in petals. And then after we harvest, we will track how many petals are on the flower that we just planted. Measure, which would be 715 at most. Measure, cool. And then we will do a fun thing where we go petals in a tuple, get position X, and get position Y. Equals measure. Okay, so what this is doing is when we go through and we do this first pass, every time we harvest or replenish or whatever, at the end we check how many petals we've got and we put it in a dictionary with this key, which is the position. So at the end of this whole first pass, we'll have a, I'm going to use the word list for people who don't program. Essentially a list of the coordinates, so 0, 0, and then the number of petals, the measure, which is 10. Right? Capiche? Capiche. Now that we have that, because we have petals on the outside, we can do some more interesting stuff. So we're going to need some sort of sorter. Let's add a function. Cool. Let's add another function. Petal sorter, which will take the petals, the petal dictionary, and it will return a coordinate. I might actually make this a little bit less complex here in a second. Actually, let me just do that now. No, I'll keep it. Very indecisive. So this will be while true. We will go to petal sorter. Petals. We will harvest. Harvest.replenish. Entity sunflower. And then we will recheck our petals, right? Got it? Great. So this is the main loop, and now we just need to sort the petals, which means we grab the biggest petal and we look for where that petal count is, and then we go there, we harvest it, and we add the new flower to our little book of flowers. That will happen in just a moment once I decide how I want to do this. Okay. So we need a for loop. For key and value. Or let's do like chord and count in petal dictionary dot items. Right, we have dot items and this. Yeah, that's fine. For now, let's just print it. I want to see what it prints. It should be fine. Quick print. Oh, there should be a coordinate. There we go. Count. And let's see that run. Error. Go-to has never been found. Oh, there should be movement.goto. It's gonna throw an error anyway. I just want to see the output, which is somewhere here. There we go. Oh, wait. Oh, dumb. Items has never been defined. That's not my favorite. Am I dumb? I'm dumb. How I'm dumb? Okay, I need to use, you can't use dot items in this, I guess. So for coordinate in the petal dictionary. Cool, let's see if this gets it. It should still error. It should just actually print the list. Cool. And then we just need to get the max out of these. Which should be fairly simple. Max petal equals, let's go 0. This will be equal to none. stream. There we go. Cool. I'm still audible, right? Yeah. Now, see if predict chord is greater than max pedal. Then max pedal equals this. And max coordinate equals chord, and then at the end we just return the max coordinate. Cool. Oh yeah, and then if so we can cut the loop a little bit early for some of these. If max pedal equals 15, we break. And we just jump to the end, because 15 is the max. So if we know we're at the max that it could possibly be, we're just going to call it quits and log this coordinate and call it a day. Cool. That should be all for sunflowers. I don't actually want to print this. Oh. Oh, damn. But it's like 0 and 1, correct? Yeah. Yep, that should be it. Okay. No? I did? It looks like I called it with 2. Like, I definitely gave it 2. Am dumb? I might be dumb. Three and 2. I should not be reporting a tuple. Okay. X and Y equals this. Go to X and Y. Cool. Done? Oh boy, is it confused. Oh, then it goes to the same one. Oh, I don't like that. Also, stop. Holy shit, stop printing. Stop it. Okay, I might need to change some stuff to make this a little bit cleaner. Unfortunately, this does seem like the most efficient option. I just want to loop a little bit less. That's even fine. I guess I just want to print less. Now it's waiting for this to grow up. It's waiting for that to grow up, yeah. This might be a good spot to use fertilizer, right? Let's stop. If get companion, what is that? Can I, what senses do I have access to? Okay, if num items, right? If num items, items dot fertilizer is greater than 0. Use item. Items dot fertilizer. There we go. Just so if it's sitting there spamming, it's at least going to try and speed it up a little bit. Oh, but then they're going to get infected, and I don't really want that, do I? Would I rather just wait? Yeah, I don't really want to use the fertilizer, I guess. It's fine if I'm harvesting the weird substance, but most of the time it's not needed. And okay, now I want to check, I want to make sure I'm actually getting the amount of items that I'm supposed to be. What does harvest return? No, not sunflowers. It'll be in the info screen. Built-in functions, harvest. Returns true if the enemy is removed, false otherwise. Okay. I need to track my entity count then. Or my item count. So under here. Golden power equals number of items. Items dot power. And then once we harvest, we want to quick print num items, items dot power, minus old power. Cool. There's a way I could do that better, but that's fine. This doesn't seem like it's netting me very many sunflowers. So my max petal right now is 10. Oh, you know what? This is actually a really interesting problem. So, hang on. This is kind of a problem that doesn't want to be solved. Because petals can spawn being so low, right? Whenever you harvest petals, you're increasing the number of low count because you're never harvesting them. So the copter just waits a lot, like in the same spot. Is that worth it? Because then you're just kind of wasting space. Like, what are all these at right now? 8, 10. What is this at? 12. So nothing should be beating 12. Otherwise, it'd go there. Right. So it's almost like sometimes you just want to go find a different one and break it, right? There's a way to make this a bit more efficient, which means that I should keep going. I don't want to keep going. I'd really like to go do everything I needed to get ready for bed, because it's getting quite late. Okay. No. There is a way to make this more efficient. Fine. So we need a max and we need a min. So if we're only grabbing the max, we increase the number of smaller petals, which means we harvest less in total. But if we take the min instead, okay. Now I need to steal the replenish code from Harvest again. We're gonna make a custom version of this. We don't need any of the get ground type stuff because it really can't change. Harvest.replant conditions. Cool. So if you can harvest, first we sort by max. We find the max petals. Then we go there and we try and harvest it. This is a case that should never happen as well. And if we can't harvest, this might be a little bit inefficient too, unfortunately. This is very likely to just pogo back and forth between two options. Let's just see how this behaves. I'm interested. Is max is going to be equal to true. If is max we're going to run this stuff here. Actually, wait, hang on. Else we'll do the min. Otherwise is max will become not is max, we're just gonna flip it. We don't need this because we're already doing it. Then we're gonna remeasure and then we're gonna go do something else. We'll come back. Okay, let's see how this works. Let us see. Error, not a valid expression. What the hell do you mean? Oh, because it's Python, not. Also, let me save. This should give it more options. Yeah, now it's just looping between two. Which is very fun. I kind of like it. I know it's not the most efficient still. I can make them grow a little bit faster by watering them, right? Let me add my watering code. Oh, this is a nightmare. Harvest dot water, right? Is that correct? This might speed it up just a little bit. And I get a lot of water. Get waterman level. Yeah. Water the ground. Water the fucking ground. You know what? In our main loop here as well. Under this def, here. Let's just have it watered. Let's just have it water a little bit, you know? I'd say that's fine enough. Is it slower than just regular? It's very erratic. How does this handle at a higher density of sunflowers? This feels very inefficient. Brain, what are we doing? Oh, I'm editing the wrong part of code. What do I code these? You can't tell I'm a little bit tired now. Okay, let's do like a 10 by 10 sunflower field, and let's just see how this goes. Okay. This seems a little bit better. Oh, now it's in the loop of death. It's increasing the amount of power I'm getting, which is good. Okay, question. Hang on. Is that any more efficient than just harvesting normally? My guess is no. Um... I think I made the sunflowers very inefficient. This seems much faster. And it's just going in a line. It spends more time harvesting the sunflowers. Okay, let's compare this with fertilizer now. Use item. items dot fertilizer. Now we're going to see how this compares with using fertilizer, which nukes half of your crop. That's the word. Okay, we're at 11. I should really be timing this. I mean, it still feels really slow. Okay, what if, since this is slow, I don't feel bad about taking it apart. Let's drop the min idea. We're not using that. We're just taking the max. We're to go to that spot. We're to check if harvest. Let's go to harvest, and then we're gonna check if get. Can we check if it's infected? How does that work? No. Okay, that's strange. I don't know how that works. Like, I can't check its status, so how would I ever know? I'd have to keep a stateful machine to know which plants I've fertilized. Boy, that seems tough. I don't wanna. I think I'm just gonna leave it. We'll just go with the sunflower one. Which is clearly the fastest version of this. I'm sure someone's got a cool solution. I might look online and see what other people have done for this one. There's a way I could do it where I keep a detailed list of every sunflower and then I track all of the infected status for everything, but that seems like a pain. Anyway, I'm gassing out, so it's time for me to close stream. Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. I will be back at some point soon. We gotta do mazes in this game. I'm gonna go back to Hollow Knight soon. I gotta finish up Pantheon 5, and then we're on to